Welcome to the VATAS Employee Role Training. VATAS is the Veterans Affairs Time and Attendance System. This training is being brought to you by the VATAS Transition Team from the Financial Services Center in Austin, Texas. What is VATAS? VATAS is a replacement for the old timekeeping system, the Enhanced Time and Attendance System. Some offices call it ETA, others call it VISTA, and others call it IFCAP. But just know we are talking about the same system regardless of which terminology we use. VATAS is a web-based time and attendance system. And what that means is as long as you can get behind the VA firewall, you can access VATAS just like any other website out there. It is extremely easy to navigate because it is simply a point-and-click user interface. VATAS is centralized and standardized, and what that means is with the old timekeeping system, the Enhanced Time and Attendance System, there was actually over 150 versions of that VISTA system. Now think about that. Every time Veterans Affairs had to update one of those systems, they had to update all 150 plus systems. Not only is it very expensive for the VA, it's extremely time consuming for the VA. With VATAS, it's one system, one policy, one update. Everyone is on a level playing field. What are the benefits to employees? VATAS tracks the status of leave and premium pay requests. And a premium pay request is a request that only the timekeeper can submit for the employee to be paid overtime or to earn comp time or to earn comp time for travel. Those are just a few examples of what a premium pay request would constitute. Leave and those premium pay requests will post automatically to the employee's timesheet upon approval. This is something that VISTA did not do, but VATAS will automatically again post that leave and premium pay to the employee's timesheet once it is approved by the supervisors. VATAS has built-in validation checks. There are no more exceptions. Anything that would have caused an exception in the past must be cleaned up before that timesheet can ever be processed. This means that employees need to submit leave requests that are accurate to the schedule that they are working. Everything in VATAS happens in real time. So when the employee is looking at their leave balance, they are looking at that leave balance in real time. VATAS has also exponentially simplified the corrected timesheet process. In VATAS, all that is required to process a corrected timesheet is that the timekeeper needs to create that correction and validate the corrected timesheet, and the supervisor certifies the corrected timesheet. Payroll is no longer involved in that process, and the corrected timesheets no longer need a second-level supervisor to certify them as well. How does VATAS work? Here is an overview with all of the key players involved. Employees. Employees can take very little action in VATAS. Employees can log in, they can change their password, and they can request leave. That is the only actions employees can take. Everything else for the employee is a view only. They can view what someone else has done. If you are an employee who is going to be new to VATAS, the first time you log in, you need to verify several things to ensure that they are correct. You need to ensure your schedule is correct. You need to ensure your leave balances are correct. And you need to ensure your timesheet profile is accurate. And in just a few moments, we will show you where you can verify all three of these in one screen. Employees are responsible for submitting leave requests in a timely manner. This means employees must submit a leave request before they ever take leave, unless it is unplanned sick leave or an emergency. Other than those scenarios, employees again must request leave in the VATAS system before they actually take that leave. Employees also need to verify the accuracy of their timesheets. Although the timekeeper posts their time, the employees still want to get in there and take a look at their timesheets to make sure everything looks correct. Timekeepers Timekeepers are the only ones who can submit a schedule request. They are the only ones who can change an employee's schedule. Timekeepers are the only ones who can submit a premium pay request. And something new in VATAS that could not happen in Vista is that timekeepers can now submit a leave request by proxy. That means they can submit a leave request on behalf of the employee. However, timekeepers are told that they should only do this if they have an email or a note from their supervisor specifically telling them to put a leave request in for an employee on a certain day for a certain leave type for specific hours. Timekeepers really should only be doing this in those emergency scenarios. Maybe if an employee calls off sick on timesheet Friday, that would be an example of when a timekeeper would possibly do a proxy leave request. Timekeepers apply the TOR, that is the new term for posting time. They validate timesheets and they submit corrections. Supervisors and TL approvers. And if you're not familiar with the term TL approver, that is the name of the second level supervisor. And their main function in VATAS is to do the second level approval of premium pay requests. But supervisors and TL approvers approve and or deny requests, leave requests, and premium pay requests. They verify that timesheets have been posted accurately, and they then certify the timesheets. The VATAS system then sends those timesheets off to process. Payroll no longer transmits those timesheets. We are currently at the login screen for VATAS. We are about to log in to the employee role, but first, let me show you how you access the login screen for VATAS. I'm going to open up a new tab on my Internet Explorer, and I'll go to the star towards the top right-hand corner. And you can do this on any machinery at the VA. Under VA Shortcuts, there is a national folder, and the last option in the national folder is VATAS. If you click on that link, it will take you to the login page for VATAS. There will be some red splash font letting you know that you have arrived at the correct site. I'm going to go back to our training database for our video, and I have already typed in our credentials, which is the va.gov email address. We hope that in the near future, VATAS will be going to the single sign-on where all users will use their PIV card to sign on. But until that happens, again, all users must log in with a va.gov email address. The first time that you log in, you will click on the Reset Forgot Password link. You will type in your va.gov email address. You will type it again and submit. This will send an email to your Outlook account, which will prompt you to create your permanent passwords. Those permanent passwords must be at least 12 characters with an uppercase, lowercase, number, and special character. We'll go ahead and type in our va.gov email address, which is just joe.employee@va.gov. I will then put in my password and click Login. You first come to this statement just issuing that the Privacy Act does apply to VATAS, and you will click the I acknowledge the above statements. For all users who are using VATAS as an employee, it will look exactly like what is on the screen right now, where we have only the Employee Role tab. As we move across the top, what we call our utility bar, you see that we have a VATAS inbox, which shows 20 messages. These messages can show things such as a leave request being deleted by the employee, a leave request being approved by a supervisor, or even that a leave request was submitted by an employee. Basically, every action the employee takes or action that is taken on behalf of the employee will generate a message to the inbox. Keep in mind that these messages will also go to the employee's Outlook account. Next to inbox, we have our settings. This is where the employee could change their password if they were already logged into VATAS. They would type their password, type it again, and save. Notice it does not show me my SSN because there is no PII in VATAS. Down the left-hand side, you have Manage Roles, And these are all view-only options. And you can see that this shows us exactly what we already know, that the employee has been assigned only the employee role. The user holiday calendar simply tells us that we are on the U.S. federal holiday calendar. The user message delivery override, this is a feature that is for the timekeepers and supervisors at the station, so we'll pass this. And finally, disabled veterans leave. And if the employee has been approved by HR to participate in this disabled veterans leave program, the start and end dates, again, as determined by HR, would be set in this field. Next to settings is a help feature that we won't cover in this, because if you should need help, we recommend that you visit our SharePoint site. And finally, log out. When you're finished using VATAS, obviously you want to log out. Anytime you would like to get back to the employee main menu, all you need to do is simply click on the Employee tab. And we are now back at the Employee main menu. Everything in VATAS happens in real time. And anytime an employee wants to take a look at their timesheet, they have two options. They can either click on Timesheet or Timesheet Summary. We recommend that you look at the Timesheet Summary, but let me first give you a look at the timesheet. When you click on the timesheet, it will show you everything that is posted as of the exact moment you're viewing it. You can see the schedule at the bottom of the timesheet, but in a moment, when you see the timesheet summary, I think you'll see why it's a bit of an easier view. This time, instead of clicking the Employee tab to go back to the main menu, let's use the breadcrumb that says Employee Main Menu to navigate. When we click on the Employee Main Menu breadcrumb, it again takes us back to the Employee Main Menu. Let's now take a look at the timesheet summary. We click on the timesheet summary, and at the top you will see your last name, comma, first name, and the current pay period. If we scroll down a bit, you'll see the timesheet along with all of these validation messages. And I know all of these errors are what initially catch your eye. And yes, every single one of these errors is an error on your timesheet. But as the employee, this is not something that you need to worry about. These errors are there for your timekeeper and supervisor to resolve. But something you do want to be mindful of as the employee are these warning messages. You want to take a look at these and to read these. And you can see this specific warning message tells us that we have comp time for travel that will be expiring in pay period 25. So this would be something to look at in case there's a warning that pertains to your leave or to possibly premium pay or anything else. As we scroll down a bit, we can see not only our timesheet, but here's our schedule. Our employee works 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday, with a short Friday of week 1, 7:30 to 4, and they're off the second Friday of the pay period. Again, everything that we're looking at has been posted in real time, which means our timekeeper has posted Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of the pay period. We have overtime on Tuesday that's been approved. How do we know that this overtime has been approved? Because we see it on the timesheet. And unlike the old timekeeping system, in VATAS, when leave or premium pay is approved, it will automatically post to your timesheet. Notice it also shows us that we teleworked on Monday and Wednesday. And if you telework, please work with your timekeeper to ensure that the telework days are coded correctly on your timesheet. We also see that in week 2 we have some annual leave from 7:30 a.m. until 12 p.m. and we once again know that this annual leave has been approved because we see it on the timesheet. As we scroll down a bit, you will see your totals. And again, these are the totals as of the exact moment you're viewing the timesheet. And as of this exact moment, there's 27 hours of RG, regular graded pay, 1 hour of overtime, and 4 hours of annual leave. As we scroll down a little further, if your timekeeper or supervisor leaves a comment on any day, it will show under remarks, and it will show the specific day the comment was left. And you can see that on Wednesday, 12/13, the employee was attending the incredibly informative VATAS demo, and they even said, "This system is great and I cannot wait to use it," which is what I'm sure you are all thinking at this time. Below that, you will see a summary of your leave and premium pay requests for the pay period. It will tell you the status. You see that we have an approved leave request, we have a TL approved premium pay request, and we have another that is still pending. It will also show you who approved those requests. Below our premium pay and leave request, we have a snippet of leave data, and we're not going to talk about this much here because I'm going to show you another section where you see even more information about your leave data. Below the leave data is the timesheet profile, and this is something that all employees will want to take a look at, especially the first time you log into VATAS. The majority of what is coded here in your timesheet profile is coded by HR. And if you see that you have something coded incorrectly in your timesheet profile, it is extremely important that you reach out to either your payroll office or HR and let them know that it needs to be corrected. And finally, at the bottom, we have an activity log. This is a timestamp of activities or actions that have been taken on your timesheet, and it will tell you who took that action and when the action was taken. You see our timesheet was saved on December 12th at 2017 at 6:44 p.m. GMT by Jimmy Timekeeper. Note that all of the times in the activity log are listed in Greenwich Mean Time. All right. Another way to navigate in VATAS is by using the cancel button. The cancel button will take you back one screen. So if we want to cancel and go back one screen, we cancel and it takes us back to the main menu. Once again, we are at the employee main menu. We're going to skip leave requests for now, but let's take a look at premium pay requests by clicking on the premium pay request link. Remember, as an employee, you cannot submit premium pay requests for yourself. These can only be submitted by the timekeeper. When we first click on premium pay requests, it defaults to showing us all requests going back 3 pay periods. There are 3 statuses that you will see premium pay requests in. At the bottom, this very last request for CB travel comp time earned is in a pending status. When you see that a premium pay request is in a pending status, that tells you that the timekeeper has submitted that premium pay request and you are still waiting on both levels of supervisors to approve that request. The next status is supervisor approved, and right above the travel comp time we have a regular comp time earned and it is supervisor approved. This means that the timekeeper has submitted your premium pay request and it has been approved by the first level supervisor. The third status that you will see a premium pay request in is TL approved, and we have that example here with the OU overtime unscheduled request. It is TL approved, and this is telling you that the request has been submitted by the timekeeper and approved by both supervisors. When you see that a premium pay request is TL approved, at that point, that premium pay will have flowed to your timesheet automatically. Another benefit is premium pay types such as comp time earned, and you see that here requested for 12/23/2017. When that comp time earned has been approved by both supervisors and is in a TL approved status, it will automatically flow to your timesheet. At that point, once that comp time earned has flowed to your timesheet, you now have that as an available, usable leave type that you can then use. Unlike Vista, where you had to wait much longer before you could use that comp time. If you want to see more details about any of your premium pay requests, you can simply click on the blue hyperlink status. Let's click the TL approved. And when we click the status link, it takes us into that request that again the timekeeper has filled out. The pay type is OU overtime unscheduled. It will show you the start and end dates, the start and stop times, and there always has to be a justification. This one is simply as brief as just OT. It's up to your supervisor how brief or detailed that justification needs to be, but again, that is something that only the timekeeper fills out. Now, as the employee, even though you cannot fill out your own premium pay requests, it is still very important that you take a look at them to make sure they are being put in correctly. Again, I'll use my premium pay request hyperlink to go back one screen to the premium pay request screen. And notice that you also have a view calendar. This is a calendar view to show you your premium pay requests. It will tell you if it's approved, supervisor approved, denied, or pending. Let's go back to the employee main menu by using the employee tab. The next link that we will be looking at from the employee main menu is our leave balances. And this is another screen that all employees will want to check, especially that first time they log in to VATAS. Let's click on leave balances. This will show you all leave types that you potentially could use as a VA employee. That doesn't mean that you will use all of these, and chances are in your entire given VA career, it would be unlikely that you would actually use all of these leave types because there are so many. But let's take a look. Notice they're all listed, all of the leave types down the left-hand side, as well as categories from forward all the way over to end of year use or lose. And that is exactly what that end of year use or lose category is showing us. In that first column, annual leave, it is telling us that we have 68 hours and 15 minutes that we will lose at the end of the paid holiday calendar year if we do not use it. Another difference from the old timekeeping system, Vista, to VATAS is that in Vista, it did not show you your accrued hours for the current pay period up front. Yes, you could still use them, but it did not show you those accruals, and it often led to confusion about exactly how many hours an employee had available. In VATAS, that will no longer be a problem. Notice we have an accrued column. As soon as the pay period opens and begins, the employee will see their accrued annual and their accrued sick leave, and they can use it immediately. Another fantastic benefit with VATAS is that it will no longer let you go negative. For example, if I needed to take 8 hours of sick leave tomorrow, but I only had 4 hours of sick leave available, unlike Vista, VATAS would not allow you to request 8 hours and then go negative 4. VATAS would only allow you to request the 4 hours that you had available in this hypothetical scenario, and then the other 4 hours would have to be annual leave, comp time for travel, and if you have nothing else available, it would have to be leave without pay that the employee would put in for themselves. Because again, you cannot overuse your leave in VATAS. You cannot go negative. Also, all of those leave types that used to be kept track of on the side in a notebook or an Excel spreadsheet, those will now all be official and they will be in the system, such as comp time for travel, which I know we've already touched on briefly, but you can see comp time for travel is official and it is in the system. Time off awards. As we scroll down a little further, you even see donated leave. If an employee is approved to be on the donated leave program, as payroll receives donations, they will add that to the employee's available donated leave bank. That way, employees, timekeepers, and supervisors no longer have to call payroll just to find out how much donated leave an employee has. Finally, if we continue scrolling at the bottom, we have tracking leave balances, such as LWOP, AWOL, family-friendly sick leave, FMLA. These count from 0 up, unlike the leave balances at the top, which take from your balance and go down as you use it. Not only does VATAS keep track of these leave types, but items such as family-friendly sick leave, care and bereavement, and FMLA, VATAS will cap those at the VA policy caps. This way, again, it prevents the employee from using more than they are allowed to use per VA policy. And if you should have any questions about what any of these leave types are, in the employee training guide we have definitions for all of these leave types as well as for all of the categories, again from forward all the way over to end of year use or lose. If you click on any of the leave types, it will give you additional details. So if we click on annual leave, it will show us any accruals or usage or even donations of that leave type. You see here that they accrued 8 hours in that pay period. They did not use any, but they donated 25 hours to someone who had been approved to be on the donated leave program. So again, by clicking a specific leave type, it will give you additional details. If we click cancel, as we've already talked about, it will take us back one screen, back to the leave balances. If we scroll down and click cancel one more time, it will take us back yet again to the employee main menu. We've already shown you a couple areas where you can view your schedule. Remember, when we click on the timesheet, we'll be able to see the schedule on our timesheet, and right here it is at the bottom. If we go back to the employee main menu, if we click on the timesheet summary, we again can see our schedule right here below the timesheet on the timesheet summary. Let's one more time go back to the employee main menu, and I want to show you the schedule link. This is below the leave balances that we just looked at. When we click on our schedule tab, it takes us into the schedule for the current pay period. It gives a bit more information here. Notice it will show you your entire schedule, how many hours each day you are scheduled to work, and it also shows you the days that you are scheduled to telework. Another important thing that employees need to be aware of is what is called the AWS code, and this stands for alternate work schedule. The most common AWS codes that you need to be aware of are 0, 6, and 8. This is a code that is set by your timekeeper or payroll. But to quickly review what AWS codes are, is an AWS code of 0 means an employee is not on an alternate work schedule. This would be for the employees that work 5 days a week, 8 hours per day, 40 hours per week. This would also be for those who are on what's called an unusual schedule, such as full-time physicians on a day tour or firefighters. An AWS code of 6 is for a compressed schedule with uneven hours, such as the schedule we're looking at today, where the week 1 total is 44 hours and the week 2 total is 36 hours. And the other commonly used AWS code is an AWS code of 8, and this is for a compressed schedule with even hours. This would be, for example, for an employee who worked 4 10s in week 1 and 4 10s in week 2. At the bottom, if there's any comments that have been put in about this schedule, you would see those under approver comments. However, we do not want supervisors approving schedules. When your schedule is created by your timekeeper, it will be in a submitted or pending status, and it should remain in this submitted/pending status throughout that pay period in which the schedule was created. At the end of the pay period, when the supervisor is certifying timesheets, they're not only certifying that the time has been posted correctly, but they are also certifying that the employee's schedule is correct. It's a way to kill two birds with one stone, and at that point, once the employee's timesheet has been certified, the schedule will then also show as approved. Let's scroll back up to the top, and we'll use our Employee tab to go back to the Employee main menu. And now the moment we've all been waiting for, leave requests. Because remember, as we talked about in the introduction, there's really only 3 things employees can do in VATAS. They can log in, they can change their password, and they can request leave. Everything else we've shown you throughout this training has been things that someone else does, and you as the employee can view what they've done, but you cannot take any action yourselves. Remember, you can view your timesheet and see everything that's posted as of the exact moment you're viewing it, but you can't change anything if there's something posted incorrectly. You would have to communicate with your timekeeper or supervisor, just like the premium pay requests or even your schedule. If any of these things are incorrect, you'll need to communicate with your timekeeper or supervisor. However, leave requests, these are the responsibility of the employee, and it's very important that employees request leave in a timely manner. What this means is leave needs to be requested before it is taken, unless it is unplanned sick leave or an emergency. Those are the only two scenarios where it's okay to put leave in after the fact. Anything else, it again needs to be requested before it is taken. To submit a leave request, employees will click on the Leave Request link from the employee main menu. Initially, it will default to showing you all of your leave requests going back 3 pay periods. If you needed to find a leave request from a date older than 3 pay periods, in this blue search rectangle, you could simply change the from or to date. If you wanted to find leave requests going back as far as possibly August, we could select August. We would then click search, and now we're showing all of our requests going all the way back to August 1st. You will see 3 different statuses when it comes to leave requests: pending, approved, and denied. A pending request means it's been submitted and waiting either approval or denial. Approved means it's been approved, and denied obviously means that the request has been denied. To submit a leave request, you will simply click on Add Leave Request. And there's really only 3 rules that employees need to follow when requesting leave. Do not request leave on your days off. So if you're a Monday through Friday employee, don't request leave on the weekends, or don't request leave on the holidays. Secondly, do not request leave outside of your tour of duty. If your tour of duty on the day that you want to request leave is 7 to 3:30, then do not put a leave request in from 7 to 4:30, because that is now outside of your tour of duty. And finally, do not submit a leave request that spans multiple pay periods. If you're taking leave and the dates fall in 2 different pay periods, put those leave in different leave requests, okay? You can still request as far out into the future as you would like, just please break those leave requests up by pay periods. If you're not sure what dates the pay periods run, what we often recommend is that you simply request your leave a week at a time. Now, before we get into actually requesting leave, let's take a look at the top right-hand corner of our leave request form. Notice that we have a leave balance calculator. Let's take a look at this by clicking on the Leave Balance Calculator button. Unlike Vista, you no longer have to memorize all of the leave codes, because just like you see on your screen right now, anywhere where you're looking at the leave codes, it will tell you that LA is annual and LB is advanced annual, and so on. But let's click on annual for this example. We want to know how much annual leave we will have as of May 1st. So for the date, we will click on the calendar and we will arrow over to May, and we will select the 1st. We will then click calculate, and we will have an estimated balance of 312 hours. What is fantastic about this is that is saying this is how much freed up usable leave you will have by whatever date you've selected down the road. It takes into consideration everything you have requested between now and whatever date you've selected, regardless of whether it's pending or approved. And it's removed those balances, and it has given you all of your accruals between now and whatever date you've selected down the road, to again say this is how much freed up usable leave you will have by whatever point down the road you've selected. Let's go ahead and close that out. If you change your schedule often and you're not sure what your schedule is, below the leave balance calculator we have a schedule button. And if we click this, you would obviously want to look at the most recent schedule. And here we have one for September 17th. If we click on this, it again shows us our Monday through Thursday, 7:30 to 5 p.m. with a short Friday and being off the second Friday. This is a great time to use those breadcrumbs to navigate. If you look towards the top, you see we have a breadcrumb that says leave request form. If we click that, it takes us right back to that leave request form that we were just working on. Let's scroll down a bit. For the leave type, again, we will select annual leave. As soon as you select the leave type, it automatically tells you your current balance. And you see that we currently have 267 hours and 15 minutes of available annual leave. And I know that the minutes are a little bit different than how they appeared in Vista. In Vista, you would see 25, 50, and 75 to correspond with 15, 30, and 45 minutes. In VATAS, you'll see 15, 30, and 45 to correspond with those same increments. And we know that's a small detail, but we just want to point that out. Let's say we just want to take 1 day of leave. Under our start date, we can click on the calendar. And if we want to take, let's say, the day after Christmas off, December 26th, we will click on December 26th. If the end date is the same as the start date, you can just hit the tab button 3 times and it will populate the same end date. On Tuesday, we know our employee's schedule is 7:30 to 5. So for the start time, we can just type 730, and when we tab, it fills in the colon and the AM. For the stop time, you can either put 5 p or 1700, whichever you prefer. We'll put in 1700, and when we tab, it automatically converts that to 5 p.m. And notice it automatically populates a 30-minute meal. And VATAS will do this. It will populate a 30-minute meal on any leave request for 6 hours and 15 minutes or more. We know some services may not take a meal. There's a lot of shifts that are from possibly 12 a.m. until 8 a.m. and they do not have a meal. If you are an employee who does not have a meal built into their schedule, you can simply just backspace that 30 minutes right back out. I'm going to put it back in because this employee does have an actual meal built in to their schedule. As we scroll down a little further, you see submitter remarks. This is completely optional. You do not have to put anything in the submitter remarks, or you can put whatever you would like. Keep in mind, this does create a permanent record. As we scroll down a little further, you see sick leave purpose. And this says, if you are requesting sick leave, you must indicate the reason. Although you must indicate the reason, none is an acceptable reason. It's already filled in for you, and that's just what most people leave. But feel free to change that if you wish. Below sick leave purpose, you see Family and Medical Leave Act, more commonly referred to as FMLA. If you are using a specific type of FMLA leave, you do have to check the box that says, I hereby invoke my entitlement to family and medical leave for, and you do have to pick the appropriate reason. We're not using FMLA for this example, so we will simply scroll to the bottom and click Submit. We have received the blue banner of success telling us that the leave request has been successfully updated. Notice the total hours has filled out with 9 hours. We didn't fill that out. That automatically populated upon submitting that leave request form. In the top right hand corner, we now see that this leave request is pending. As soon as you submit that leave request, it automatically sends an email to your supervisor's Outlook account letting them know they have a leave request to approve. Once they approve your leave request, you will get an email to your Outlook account letting you know that that leave has been approved, and at that point, in this example, the annual leave would automatically populate to your timesheet. Another difference from Vista to VATAS is if you have an approved leave request and you need to make a change, you need to edit that request in some way, all you need to do is ask your supervisor to revert that approved request back to pending. Again, if you have an approved leave request that you need to delete or you need to edit in some way, you only need to ask your supervisor to revert that approved request back to pending, and once it is pending, you can then edit or delete that request however you need. Let's use our breadcrumbs here to go back to leave requests. And another fantastic feature on our leave request is View Calendar. If we select the View Calendar, this gives us a calendar view of all of our leave requests. It also shows us what dates the pay periods run. You can see that pay period 25 begins on December 10th and would run until December 23rd. It also shows us the current day, and you see today is grayed out and indicated as today. It will even show you what days your holiday falls on. So we see that Christmas is on December 25th. Joe employee knows that they have December 25th off. Let's go back a couple months and take a look at October. And take a look and see if anything looks maybe out of place for October. How about Columbus Day? You see that Columbus Day is shown on Friday the 6th, but we all know that Columbus Day was actually on Monday the 9th. Well, VATAS isn't broken. This is actually a really neat feature with VATAS. In pay period 20, Joe employee was on a compressed schedule and they already had Monday the 9th off. So this calendar shows you which direction your holiday will move per VA policy. So that way you know that you have a long weekend to include Friday the 6th all the way through Monday the 9th off, because again, in pay period 20, this employee already had Monday the 9th off, and that is why it shows the holiday moving to a different day. Let's scroll up a bit, and let's use our breadcrumb to go back to our leave requests. We've just done an example of a leave request for one day. But let's say that we need to do a leave request for more than one day. And let's say it's that same week that we had already requested December 26th. So we now need to edit that request. Let's scroll down our list of leave requests, and our very last request is pending, and that's the request we just did an example of. But now we need to change it. Well, it's pending. We know we can. If it were approved, once again, we'd have to reach out to our supervisor and ask them to revert it to pending. But since it's already pending, we can simply click on that pending status. And we want to say that we want to take the entire Christmas week off. Well, we do not need to request Monday the 25th off, because that's the day that we are already off. And Christmas week is the first week of the pay period, which means that we need to do an end date of Thursday, December 28th, not Friday, the 29th, and I'll show you why in just a moment. So we're going to change our end date to Thursday, December 28th. We will then add a new row. The new row, the start date, will be Friday, December 29th, and the end date will be Friday, December 29th, with a start time of 7:30 a and a stop time of either 4 p.m. or 1600, because remember, the first Friday of the pay period is Joe employee's short day. If we had done this request Tuesday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 5 p.m., that would not match the schedule exactly. And in VATAS, your leave requests must match your schedule exactly, or your timesheet will be held up. You would have to ultimately fix that request before your timekeeper could ever validate your timesheet. We've made the changes that we need to make. We will now scroll back down to the bottom and submit. We again get the blue banner of success telling us that our leave request was successfully updated. We now have a total of 27 plus 8 hours, which is a total of 35 hours, and that is exactly what we wanted to request so that we could have the rest of that Christmas week off. So another example of how to request a week of leave. Because one more time, to review those rules, you do not want to request leave on your days off. You do not want to request leave outside of your tour of duty. And you do not want to put in a leave request that spans multiple pay periods. We can now use our breadcrumb to go back to our leave requests, and we now see 35 hours, and we see that reflected in our list of pending, approved, and denied leave requests. Let's use our employee main menu hyperlink to go back to our main menu one more time. We are back at the employee main menu one last time to wrap up our employee role training for VATAS. I lastly would like to show you that we do have a reports section on the employee page. However, there's no reports that you can run to get information on anyone other than yourself. And I would recommend that you would look at your timesheet summary to obtain just about any of the information you would be able to gather from any of the reports. But if you would like to get in and play around and explore these reports, by all means do so. You won't mess anything up in your account, and it is something that you could possibly take a look at. Maybe the unposted leave and premium pay request would be a report that you would want to run. You could run this on yourself and see if you have any leave or premium pay requests for prior pay periods that never made it to your timesheet. Again, these reports though are for some of the higher roles such as payroll, timekeeper, and supervisors. But I at least wanted to point that out for you all, that we do have the reports section. Finally, at the bottom, we have continuation of pay, or COP recipients. Hopefully this is not a link that anyone needs to look at, because that would only be an account if you were unfortunately injured on the job. If that would happen to you, under COP recipients, it would show you some information about your COP account. Employees can have up to 3 COP accounts at any given time. It would show your name, your injury number, the date of injury, the COP status, whether active or terminated, and it would also show your return to work date should you have a return to work date. This is all set up by payroll, and once again, at the employee level, this would all be a view only option. We're going to go back to our employee main menu, and let's log out of our training database. Now, regardless of whether you're using the actual database, which is the only one our employees should be using, or whether you're watching this training, we have a link that takes you to the SharePoint portal on the login page for VATAS. Let's click the VATAS SharePoint portal link. VATAS has a fantastic SharePoint page. The VATAS SharePoint page is maintained by those of us who work with VATAS day in and day out. On the home page, we would have any important announcements that would affect everyone. Towards the right-hand side of the home page, we have a training calendar, and these are live trainings. On Tuesdays, we have trainings for timekeepers. Again, this training that you're listening to right now is for employees, but should you ever take on that timekeeper role and need the training, you see that on Tuesdays we have timekeeper training. Should you ever need supervisor training, we have those on Thursdays. And once again, they are live and they are being taught by an actual member of the VATAS team. Towards the top left-hand corner, we have specific pages of the SharePoint site for the different roles in VATAS. We have payroll, timekeeper, supervisor. But what you all would be interested in is the employee page. Let's take a look at the employee page. Down the right-hand side of the employee page, we have attached any document that we think could be beneficial to you as an employee. This is also where you can always find, download, and print the most recent version of the Employee Training Guide. And you see right now, that is Employee Training Guide version 11.0. We have videos. This is most likely where you've joined and watched the video that you're currently viewing, or you viewed it at our SharePoint or at our YouTube page. Below, We have short snippets of all of the different topics discussed in this employee training video. So if, for example, maybe down the road you forget how to put in a leave request, you can come and watch the short video on how to submit a leave request. And it would be a short 3 to 5 minute video showing you specifically how to perform that action. We hope that you found this VATAS employee role training to be beneficial, and we look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you again, and have a great day.